Hi there, welcome to this video. This is Tina from tinahills.com, and today I'm speaking to you about an Aries ascendant, a Virgo moon, and a Scorpio sun. So straight off, your ascendant is in Aries, which is cardinal fire and yang. Your moon is in Virgo, which is earth, and it is feminine and it's mutable. And then you have your sun in Scorpio, which is fixed and feminine as well, and water as well. Okay, now interestingly, before I proceed, let me give a little fact about Virgo and Scorpio. So in ancient astrology, there were not 12 signs or 12 houses. Okay, so we worked with 10. So Virgo and Scorpio were actually one sign, and then they were broken up, and Libra was added in the middle, and Scorpio and Virgo were divided. So interestingly, you are connected to Virgo and Scorpio, which was fused as one sign, and the domain of which is digestion, reproduction, and elimination, right? Aries rules the head. Very interesting. Now, also, so you're inherently connected, and there's a huge sexual energy with Scorpio. So you're definitely, and Virgo, people don't understand that, but by them being fused together, you can understand. And the Vestal Virgins were autonomous sexual, beings in ancient culture, in ancient myth, you know. So they were these women who were sacred keepers of wisdom. They were the high priestesses, and they were chosen, and they did not marry, and they were sexually free and had quite a high position in the world of men. So there is a sense of independence immediately that is associated with Virgo. And also with Scorpio, we know it is Pluto's domain, so it's very independent and volatile. Another linkage here is you're ruled by Mars, because Mars is the ruler of your ascendant, Aries, and Mars is also the ruler of your sun, Scorpio. Of course, Pluto rules Scorpio as well, but Mars is the traditional ruler of Scorpio. Okay, now moving on to another interesting point is that there are 3 signs of death: Aries, Scorpio, and Pisces. So you have 2 prominent signs of death. You burn in the fires of Aries to resurrect as the phoenix. And of course, Scorpio also plays with the phoenix myth, because when you die in the waters of Scorpio, you are born a phoenix, because the 3rd archetype of Scorpio is phoenix. Another point to note here is that your moon and sun are both in difficult positions. And what do I mean by that? I mean that moon does not do well in Virgo. Why? Because moon is about connecting, nurturing, emoting, you know. Virgo is about industry. It's about service. It's about health and healing. It's about our everyday life and how we manage our work life. So there is really, not much space for emotions. Virgo is about purposefulness. So moon cannot express herself in Virgo, right? And sun is definitely very weak in Scorpio. Sun does well in Taurus, which is the polarity of Scorpio, but the sun cannot shine like it does in, say, Leo. With Scorpio, it's a difficult position of the sun. So right off the bat, you have 2 difficult placements to deal with. And one may lack emotion, which is Virgo, and one which has tempestuous and volatile emotions which are almost too difficult to encase within the physical form. Okay, that is why Scorpio deals with death and resurrection. But the turbulent emotions in Scorpio can be very difficult. Now your ascendant is a very important part of you. It's the Jungian mask. It's how the world perceives you. And it is the degree of the zodiac rising on the eastern side of the horizon at the moment of your birth. And the sign on which it falls is your ascendant sign, is your rising sign, okay? And as I said this, when you walk into a room, people perceive you by your ascendant. They see you through the filter of your ascendant. So you have a purposeful stride, you have ruddy complexion, Aries rules the head. So this is a huge part of your identity and who you are, okay? Very, very defined, well-defined features, high cheekbones, deep, edgy eyes, and you more so because you have the Scorpio sun. So there's edginess to Pluto and Mars rules Scorpio, and there's serious edginess to Aries. So here you start off and you have this edgy look in your eyes, and it can be deep and penetrating. So it's almost like soul piercing, like you can see through people's souls, okay? It can be very intimidating. You're not afraid of eye contact. You're not afraid to say what you feel. You're not afraid to be dominant and go out and assert yourself. After all, Aries is the archetype of the initiator. Now your skin is ruddy. You can blush and becomes red. Red is probably a color that vibrates well with you because it is after all the color of, it is the color of Mars, your ruler. Mars, the red planet. So you can have ruddy complexion, highlights in your hair, you love your red lipstick, you know, you like to put highlighters on your cheekbones, you just emphasize this part of your head, your part of your body, the head. Now, ill aspects to Mars can see you having issues with ENT, okay? And also ear infections, persistent acne, migraine, you may have power, hypertension, high blood pressure, and all of that, okay? Now, remember that Aries ascendant, although you have two things in feminine, your moon and sun, but your Aries ascendant is tremendously masculine. So this makes you appear more masculine, more boyish, more squarish built. A lot of Aries people like to wear their hair short. They're very purposeful, practical. They do like to create an impact because they are, after all, the archetype of the trailblazer, the pioneer, the initiator. So they like to have attention on them, but they like to do the chasing. They're the more dominant one in the chase, so to say, okay, the romantic chase. But then there's a lot of testosterone, a lot of restless, anxious, impulsive energy with this. That needs grounding. Okay, now you may suffer from stress because you have a 6th house moon, and I'll get to moon in detail, but you can suffer from stress, and as I said, hypertension and migraines could be bad. So keep a lookout and keep everything balanced. Okay, you have fire, earth, and water, fixed water, mutable earth, and cardinal fire. So balance should be, you're not too fixed, or you're not too impressionable, or you're not too ever-changing. Although with your Aries ascendant you are ever-changing, okay? You just cannot stick to one thing. Aries is great at initiating but not great with completions. All right, now as I said, you must do yoga. Virgo moon should help you with this yoga aspect, and just bring you more in tune with your body, which is absolutely important, even to control your scorpionic sun emotions. Now, you're very swift metabolism, you digest food quite fast, but if you are not putting in the right thing, that can turn to toxicity and you can suffer from migraines directly related to your digestion. Virgo, your 6th house, ruler of your moon, also rules digestion. So be mindful of what you put in there, okay, because your head will react, right? Now, Aries is the infant of the zodiac. So a lot of the trials and tribulations have to do with this infancy. And there is always a selfish streak with infancy because we are more concerned about self-survival more than anything. So as eminent astrologer Stephen Forrest says, that the goal of Aries should be enlightened selfishness. The rest soak in the agitating fires of Aries, because this is time to claim a new directionality in your life. The esoteric ruler of Aries is Mercury. So ultimately, it is not about Martian conflict and war and combativeness and competitiveness. It's about higher wisdom of Mercury. Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and Moon. Moon is your mother. It is who you are when no one is around. It is your emotions, your connection, the idea of nurturing, idea of nurturance, how you will be as a mother, your childhood, your everyday habits. All of this is the moon. As you see, it's a very private part of us, and moon is not happy in Virgo, so difficult to deal with your emotions. Always stay in touch with that and acknowledge what comes up, because that is going to come up with your Scorpio moon, Scorpio sun. Even your Scorpio sun is not in a good position. 8th house sun is difficult. You can get an inheritance, of course, if you have an easy Mars. You have to see a lot of other things, but you can get an inheritance with an 8th house sun, something from your father. And okay, the moon. Let me just first include the moon. So moon is your mother. Your mother may have been very industrious, and Virgo is the sign of service. In ancient astrology, it was the house of slavery, the 6th house. So there's always this slavish necessity to be industrious where Virgo is present. Okay, so your 6th house, Virgo, be careful of health. 6th house is health, hidden enemies, everyday work. So structure your work. Aries wants to start things but cannot complete. Your Virgo moon should give you that stability, and the moon is your deep emotions, which nobody really sees. Till the age of 7 they see the moon, but as you grow older and you learn to put on that mask, you interact with society through the mask of the ascendant, not the moon anymore. Your mother may have been cold, emotionally detached, but Virgos are very good people. They are very sincere, and they always want to be practical. Even the information they give you, they want it to be practical. Sun in Scorpio, oh, it's not an easy position. Problems with the father. Your father may have had many secrets. Your father may have received a huge inheritance himself, and depending on how his and your planets are placed together, it'll be decided whether you will get something from him. Or he may even, some people with an 8th house sun have even lost their father. So it's a very difficult place for the sun to be in. But yet, if you work through the transformative Plutonic energy, it's atomic. Pluto's energy is nuclear, it's atomic. So yes, it destroys, but after death comes rebirth. If there is no night, there will be no dawn and no morning. So Scorpio and death and death are as important to growth and regeneration. As I said, Scorpio is again another sign of death. So there is always this death motif playing with Aries, Scorpio and Pisces. So how can you transform yourself? The sun is your goals, your ambitions, your father, how you take your internal key and project it out into the world. You're a great detective, very possible. And you have the wherewithal to keep meticulous detailing with your Virgo moon. but I don't know, with your Aries sun, you may even have been in service and then decided to be an investigator. But overall, Scorpio Virgo combination, 8th house, 6th house, I would say you could be looking into taboo subjects and working through and healing people with your Virgo moon. After all, Virgo is the healer. And they seek to heal your physical body, whereas Pisces seeks to heal your spiritual. And Scorpio, the ultimate aim of Scorpio is to resurrect as the phoenix. It is the path of discipleship. It is the stage that prepares you for your initiation. And Plutonic netherworld is your unconscious. So everything, like 90% of our brains, it's the unconscious. Okay, so it's deep, it's profound, and but be careful of extreme anger. Be careful during Mars hard aspects. Be careful of guns, heavy machinery, fires, and stuff like that. Okay, be very careful about that. 8th house again, Scorpio, so be careful of water and drowning. Be careful of driving under the influence. So that was a bit about Aries ascendant, Virgo moon, and Scorpio sun. Please subscribe and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. www.dinahills.com. Visit me there.